Is our audio not working?
Yeah, our audio is not working. So bear with us.
Just the full dab.
Yeah, just 1 and 2.
Everyone can just listen to the...
Audio's back? Hey!
Fantastic.
Hey!
Audio's
Cool.
back.
Hey, we do have
Hi.
captions on, so it doesn't give us free reign.
Should I reintroduce myself?
Go again.
Hi
No.
everyone, I am Russ. I'm going to be playing Anuj, a elf paladin. We both use they them pronouns, and they just drank a potion to try and get their memories back. So who's ready for trauma?
Hi, everybody. I am Sarah. I'm playing Tessa. Both of us use she, her pronouns, and I also drank the potion. So get ready for additional trauma.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hi, everyone. My name is Morgan. I play Riddance. We both use he, him pronouns. And I almost dumped the potion. So get ready for a little bit of fallout from that.
Hi, I'm Kate. I play Arlie. We both use she, her pronouns, and I have no ties to the potion whatsoever. I tried to keep Riddance from appending it, basically. So we'll see how that conversation goes. It'll be
What
great.
a good mom character.
Yeah,
Very true.
much.
You're doing a great job.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
You're just like, oops, sorry.
No, what were you saying? Say it.
I was saying you're just like, I need to keep the children from fighting.
It's
Your
that's
corners.
very much the energy that's happening here.
So excited.
And I am Diana. I'll be GMing this game set in Neverland, which I think I said before we kind of got started here with actual sound. And this is sort of a homebrew thing, so please look out for it being published for you to use. All right, let's see. Sorry, I just lost and found the important document. So I just wanted to, before we get started and do our recap, I just wanted to thank all of our sponsors as well. We have a huge thank you to Tabletop Loot, who are our amazing dice sponsor, providers of fine dice for all your gaming needs. You can go to www.tabletoploot.com and use the code WTTPDICE to get 15% off your next purchase. Oh, also, my good friend Maddie from So Nerd Wear and his amazing merch shop are the sole provider of Welcome to the Party merch. So you can head over to sonerdwear.com and use the code WELCOME to get 10% off your next purchase. So Nerdwear, it is definitely what the nerds wear. Welcome to the Party is also sponsored by Roll20, which is the virtual tabletop that runs straight out of your web browser. You can have everything you need to play with your friends at the click of a mouse. Click to roll character sheets, built-in video and voice chat, and you can even download and upload your own maps and tokens custom made. All that is available with a free basic account, and you can sign up at roll20.net/start/WTTP. And finally, Welcome to the Party is proudly sponsored by Devin Rue, who has provided huge support to the community since we launched. For some of the best cartographical content on the web, check out rueinc.com, rueink.com. And last but not least, our Patreon also goes to support the channel, the people who support it, and your generosity allows us to keep working on our mission to platform amazing LGBTQ and BIMPOC players and creators. So please check us out at patreon.com/welcomepartyrpg. And of course, hang out and join us in the Discord as well. Sorry about all the intro confusion at the end of our last session. Our party was joined by Anuj, a new member of our lost group who decided to leave the floating island in the day alone without flight because Anuj was unable to kind of get off the ground literally and figuratively with that. They all traveled off the floating island away into the woods to attempt to find the scorpions up in the mountains as they were instructed to by Clam. In doing so, they stumbled upon a group of people sort of camping out in a cave in the side of the mountain. And instead of attacking or sneaking, just walked right up and started a conversation, which has led, after much confusion, pranking, hiding, and other things, to two members of the group making and drinking a potion that will supposedly bring back their memory prior to Neverland. The two being Anuj and Tessa. So, that said, everyone still in this cave, standing around, you witness Tessa and Anuj drink this potion, pause for a moment as if waiting for something to happen, and almost simultaneously, the two of them both kind of back up against the cave wall and slowly sink to a seated position. And eyes open, kind of just stare out, glassy-eyed a little bit for a while. It's the rest of you there with the red tiefling, and the fire still going. The red tiefling does not look terribly bothered or disturbed by this. As for Arlie and Riddance, what would you like to do?
Do Anuj and Tessa look panicked?
They do not. They just look like they're asleep, but their eyes are open.
It's mildly disconcerting.
Fair.
I'm actually going to look at the red tiefling, and he doesn't seem concerned, but I'm going to ask anyway. Is this supposed to happen?
The first time was a little rough. You know, most of us try to keep up with it enough so that everything doesn't disappear completely. But they're getting it all back all at once. Kind of rough. Just, they got to deal with it, and then it'll be all right.
Okay. I'm actually going to pull out the blanket that I made for Riddance, and I'm going to show it. I'm like, Riddance, I made this for you, and this is yours, but I think our friends might need something to help ground them. Is it okay if we use it to kind of wrap around them to keep them safe while they get their memories back?
Yeah, okay.
Okay. When this is over, I'll give it to you. Look, it's even got your name on it. See?
Oh, wow. Oh, there's 2 Ds.
Yeah, there's 2 of them.
Okay.
Okay. Here, do you want to help me?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's get Anuj and Tessa, and basically I'm going to have Riddance help me move them closer together so I can like cover them both with the blanket while they like recover their faculties.
They don't even resist or limply move. It's almost like they sort of on autopilot move with you a little bit. And once you get them into this position, just sort of lean back up against the wall of the cave. And go back to just kind of staring there.
I'm gonna look over at the red tiefling. How long does this last?
Well, do you know anything about them prior to coming to Neverland?
No.
Then I guess it depends on how good our potion was and also how crappy their lives were.
So it could be a while.
Could be. Anyway, just you should warm up. It's gonna get cold.
Sure.
And the little one too, probably.
I'll make sure little Riddance is. I'll do like the mom. If Riddance is willing, I will like kind of bear hug Riddance from behind to make sure he's warm.
And the red tiefling will stand in the cave entrance and stare outward, kind of pacing back and forth every so often, eyes up along the sky. Tessa, you are in a kitchen. There are pots and pans hanging along the wall on hooks. There are herbs drying in the windowsill. And a woman kneels down with an apron folded up and pulls it down to reveal some nuts and berries crushed into a bit of a pile. And she says, "Why don't you try?" And you reach your hand into the apron and grab a few of those herbs and nuts and berries. And she lifts you up over one of the small pots that's hanging over a fire. And you lift your hand out over the stove and open it. And just as they hit the pot into the bottom, suddenly you're in the woods and you're taller and you hear the word "run" being whispered over and over and over. What do you do?
I run just in any direction that I'm seeing that I can get through trees.
Make me a dexterity saving throw.
Oh, geez. 11.
You run as fast as you can. And at one moment, just trip over the branch of a tree that you just couldn't calculate fast enough. You fall into the dirt, and as you're scrambling to your feet, you can hear these crunches in the leaves getting closer and closer. You get up, you continue running and running. Anuj,
Mm-hmm.
you are comfortable in a lap, a comfortable lap that is wearing a cloth that he has wrapped also around you as you're being read a story about people who have been dead for ages and ages. And this story is being told to you for maybe the fourth or fifth time. And it's finally starting to feel familiar enough that it's sticking. And you can kind of sense where it's going. And you look up to see kind and warmth in the eyes. You are now a little bit older. You are making your first garment by yourself. It is not going well. It is a struggle. You perhaps pricked your finger more than once in frustration. You have a very good teacher. You have several very good teachers, in fact. And each time you mess up, they just have you do it again, and again, and again. It is a few years later. You are standing ahead of a beautiful altar. You are nervous. You can feel your heart in your throat, and it is pounding, and you are positive that the other kids on the line can hear it echoing throughout your throat. And I would like you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Without modifiers, that's a 2. With modifiers, it's a 5.
When the crash first happens, you don't notice until everyone around you is already running, fighting, and the chaos has already broken out. It's like you're standing in the center of the chaos, and there's a bubble around you for a few moments where you're still and everything else around you is moving. You can hear people screaming for one another, and you see people pick up arms, and you think about what to go for and what to do. And it takes you a moment before you finally decide. And what do you do?
I think that Anuj would look for their parents, and they'd see that Varsh is gone, and Cole is in front of them, holding the item.
Mm-hmm. In the moments where you weren't able to register exactly what was happening, your focus starts to come back, and you see Cole there, like you knew that he would be. And what he's holding, you fixate on. It's the way that he's holding it, like it's the most precious thing in the world, besides maybe you and Varsh. And the fighting gets thicker, and you see the faces of these strangers taking things, not just hurting people, but they're They're taking things from your family, from your people. They're taking them and putting them in bags without real regard for what it is that they're taking. And they start to one of them starts to walk towards Cole and you and the item.
Anuj, Cole would say something, and I don't think Anuj would hear it, but they would understand what it means. And Anuj would grab the item, and as they turn to run, I think that they see a glimpse of Varsha's purple form exploding out of him.
You see exactly that. And you find somehow within you the strength to run. And I want you to make a stealth check to hide in the first spot that you can see.
That is a 15.
You find a turned over cauldron that is just big enough for you to tuck under. And even though you don't fit really all the way, you just make yourself as small as possible. You hide this thing and you see and hear the chaos around you even louder under this thing. And it starts to die down just a little bit when you see a couple of boots coming toward where you're hiding. You're just not sure if you're going to make yourself small enough. At that time, a hand grabs your hand. A hand doesn't pull you, just kind of tugs slightly. You turn, and this face that you would now recognize looks oddly comforting and just says, "Come on." Blows this dust into your face, and suddenly you are floating, flying away as this person in boots is too stunned to really respond, react. You see and you look back on the chaos behind you, and you look forward to this creature, person, taking you away from it, and start to clutch the item in your hands, panic, and then all of a sudden you pass this barrier and everything starts to become fuzzy. Anuj and Tessa, you wake up. It is dark in the cave. Tessa, you remember the smell of herbs. You remember that one time in your life you were comfortable. Now you are scared and you want to run. Something is coming for you and you have no idea what. You need to run. You know you need to run. Anuj, you remember everything. Everything. Dropping the item, your whole life, your parents, your family, your extended family, your home. You remember that Pan saved you, but you didn't really understand or have a decision or a choice in the time. It was just you were being saved, and then you were here. You wake up, you see your new friends, both of you here, and you feel somewhat grounded after a moment that you're back here in Neverland. This is real. This place is real. These people are real. And the potion definitely did something.
Question for you.
Yes.
Has the fairy dust worn off already?
The fairy dust has maybe a small amount of time left. I'm not positive.
Then I think for a moment when Anuj comes out of this with all their memories in tow, I think they float for just a second as the fairy dust winks out and they
You.
touch back down.
That's what happens. And Riddance and Arlie, this is what you see. And the red tiefling will turn back inside and say, "Oh, good. Good."
I have to go.
Go where?
I have to get what I dropped.
We'll get it. But
No, it's important that I get it as soon as possible. I can't wait. I have to go.
it's getting dark. It won't go anywhere until the morning.
I think Anuj kind of just like looks to Tessa just to like feel something grounded in the sense of like you just went through the same thing. And Anuj looks and says,
Yeah.
What did you see?
Tessa's eyes are like wide, animal caught in headlights, kind of panic in her eyes, on her face, in her posture. She's stiff and like halfway to standing and about ready to like start running out the door, looking around, trying to see anything in this cave, and looks back at Anuj and just like shakes her head and runs out. Like full on, like sprints.
Sprinting.
Yeah.
I'm going to kind of ruffle Riddance's frill for a second and move the child over to the side. And I will run after Tessa. And I'll chase.
The red tiefling also takes a weapon off of his back, says, "Ah, shit," and starts running as well after Tessa.
You might want to put your weapon away.
No, I don't.
Responsible Arlie was like, I just left 2 baby teenagers in that cave.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
What is Riddance doing?
Where's his blanket?
I think it's
Probably
probably
just
still around
around-
Anuj.
Yeah.
Is it? Okay. I think Riddance is just kind of sit at the fire and kind of just look at Anuj, not really knowing what is happening at the moment.
So Anuj stands up from off the ground and has the blanket around them. And as they approach, they kind of look at it and see Riddence's name, and they take it off, fold it neatly in their hands as they walk, and hold it out to you and said, thank you for that.
You can thank Arlie. She made it.
But it's yours, and you chose to share, and that was nice.
So was it a mistake?
No. It was good and bad. But I think the good was more than the bad. Something really bad happened before I came here, and I'm safe, and that's good. But I need to go back.
I don't know if you can.
I don't know either. But I have to try. We trusted people who hurt us. All of us. And I don't know how everyone else is doing. And I need to find out. And I don't know how much time has passed since it all went down and everything happened. But I remember the good. I remember the stories. I remember the smiles. I remember my training. I remember so many things. I don't regret that.
I'm sorry about the potion and almost dropping it.
I'll be honest. I was upset and angry, but I'm not. Because something happened to Tessa that was so scary that she ran away.
Tessa! And Riddance just runs.
Yeah.
I think Anuj would reach out to grab you.
Yeah.
If Riddance lets them.
It's probably not like it's probably that moment where if you latched on, Riddance would stop. So it's probably like a did you latch on or not?
Anuj,
Yeah.
dexterity
Okay.
check to see if you are quick enough in the reflex.
That's a 15.
All right. Anuj just barely grabs probably the blanket that you're holding onto, Riddance, and just tugs on you just enough to get you to pause.
And Riddance whips around and goes, What? What?
Anuj, we don't know where they went, but they know we're here. I think it's probably best that we stay here and wait for them to come back.
You're right. Arlie can handle it.
She can. And I think it'd be best for her to know that we're here and safe. So that way she can worry about Tessa and not worry about us. Besides, I don't think either of us have eaten yet, and I'm kind of hungry.
There is some animal left, like on the spigot over the fire. It doesn't look great, but it's some protein. Tessa.
Yeah.
You are running at full speed.
Yes.
For curiosity, do you go down the spiral of the mountain or up the spiral of the mountain?
Up.
You go up. Fantastic. Tessa runs up this spiral path at top speed. She's ahead of you, Arlie, but you can still see her, except for brief pauses as she turns and rounds sharp corners every once in a while. You're staying behind her. And you hear the very close footsteps of a very tall tiefling bounding behind you, shouting in frustration, "God damn it, you don't stop! You have to stop! Please stop!"
I want to see if I can maybe use the last little bit of fairy dust to fly in front of Tessa and like catch her.
Okay. I will say make me a Constitution saving throw to utilize that last dying little bit of flight to bound.
God, okay. Please. I am using inspiration. That was a 3.
Good job.
That's much better. That's a 15 plus 2, 17.
All right. Just sheer force of will. There is very little happy thought in your head. There is very, very little fairy dust on your person, but you just take a deep breath and you are not positive if you just maybe have jumped very, very hard. It doesn't seem that much stronger than that, but just sheer force. You just kind of jump, leap, fly for one singular moment to get you right over her head, and you sort of collapse on the ground in front of her. Tessa, with disadvantage, make me a dexterity saving throw to stop yourself before you trip over her, because you are really one-track mind right now.
17, actually. With disadvantage. Yeah.
Whoa. All right then. I mean, just, I suppose, the stunned reaction of your friend materializing in front of you was enough to get you to stop and see her sort of brushing herself off on the ground at your feet. The red tiefling comes to a stop. God damn, why?
I'm going to reach for Tessa's hands. And Tessa, can you look at me?
I blink, do that like rapid blinking thing that just seems to, you like Arlie in front of me, and it's cold just seems to sort of bring me back. Just blinking, holding on to you, and yeah, okay.
Tell me 4 things you see.
Well, it's dark.
Best guess.
I see you. I see trees. I see the tiefling.
Yes.
And I see stars.
Okay. 3 things you hear.
I hear you. I hear wind. And I hear him swearing.
2 things you smell.
Pine trees. And snow.
1 thing you taste.
She kind of like blood. I think I bit my cheek.
Gosh, look at that. Taken care of. Okay. Are you all right? That's a dumb question. Yeah, you're not all right. That was a stupid question.
I'm here.
Okay. Nothing is chasing you. You're here. It's very cold and very dark. And nothing is going to come for you in the middle of the night.
I don't want to salt that attitude. It's very good. I do not want you to run away again. However, just a little bit of a reality check. Some things may come for you in the middle of the night. Hence, we all stay together. Some things may be chasing you. You ran away from Pan's camp and it's nightfall. We should,
There's safety in numbers.
Is this supposed to be helping?
No, that's not what I do. I help with this more often than with this, but I do need to impress upon you that you should not run away.
We left Anuj and Riddance back in the cave. They're very young, and I don't know how safe they are. All right. Here, do you want to hold on to me?
Yes.
Okay.
Tessa was not going to let go.
Yeah. Okay. And would you prefer me in front of you or behind you? What would make you feel safer?
Next to me.
Okay. So I will kind of link arms and hold her hand and kind of glare at the red tiefling because what the fuck was that? And then kind of very softly talk to her and guide her back to the cave.
Look, that was very nice, but also very real dangerous. I
got it.
Two sides of okay. Anyway, we'll go. I'll take the rear. Riddance, Anuj, make a perception check for me, please.
$15.
17.
As you are about to wander, were you about to leave the cave?
We decided to stay and
You
wait
decided to stay
patiently.
So as you are sitting around the campfire about to chomp on that leftover food, the both of you almost simultaneously hear this strange sound, sort of like but many of those all together, making that at the same time. And it seems to be getting closer and closer, and it definitely does not sound anything similar to any of your friends. Sounds like teeth chattering.
Sudsbury, can you keep it down, please? You're kind of being a little bit annoying. Thank you. I said thank you. I said thank you.
Riddance, I don't think that's Sudsbury.
Riddance takes like a 270-degree look around.
Yeah, Sudsbury has never made that noise before. Sudsbury does not really react to that accusation. Does not seem to be.
Anuj, just on instinct, runs and grabs the items that they had previously thrown on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
The shield and the club specifically. They don't really pick up the javelins, they kind of just leave them there. And they go and stand in front of Riddance.
Riddance, what would you like to do?
Yeah, you're gonna take the first watch? Okay, cool. And Riddance is just gonna kind of like lean up against one of the logs and put the blanket on him. Just kind of like
Great.
start to
He
cozy up.
goes to sleep. Excellent. Wonderful.
Anuj would nod and be like, yeah, I'll take the first watch.
The noise gets louder and louder. Anuj, you stand at the ready as finally you see these 3 small creatures hop past the entrance to the cave and turn to look in.
Question.
Answer.
Where is the second scorpion? Because I know one of them left.
One of them
second
left. The other one has been asleep, resting up against the far wall of the cave.
Okay. Anuj would quietly like reach down, grab a stone, and throw it at the sleeping scorpion.
You throw it at her. She, oh, what? Oh, God. Oh, God. And, and jumps up and it's like, what the, no, where is everybody? And then you hear her cup her hands over her mouth. Too late.
Yeah.
These beasts have turned to look at you. They are basically gaping maws with legs. They are just teeth and eyes and legs, bright purple with blood-soaked teeth and gums that are just continuously chomping. And they turn to look at you and they start to hop into this cave towards you. The scorpion rushes to the front and is going to try to toss the 2 of you back with as much strength as she can muster.
Should we roll initiative? I feel like we should roll initiative.
We're gonna roll initiative right now.
I'm scared.
Mm-hmm. Everybody's gonna roll initiative, including our scorpion and our babies here.
Wee babs.
One of our wee babs is sleeping.
I'm going to say we'll probably take a break after I get everybody to give me their inspiration numbers. Their initiative numbers. Sorry, thank you.
Okay. I have a 15.
10 for Riddance.
But Riddance is also sleeping.
Yes.
Riddance is asleep. Riddance is not going to jump into the initiative order yet, but the 10 is still relevant.
It's okay. I'm standing in front of Riddance, and the scorpion's standing in front of me.
It's like the whole "no, I'm Spartacus. No, I'm Spartacus."
Right. Do you want us to roll initiative too, Diana?
You know what? If you could do that for when this gets started.
Yeah.
I rolled a 20, not natural.
Jeez.
Wow, just show everyone up. Why don't
Alright.
you?
This die, man. D20.
Just like dunk on us.
I rolled a 23.
She's got a lot of adrenaline happening right now.
Well, Arlie just rolled a 23, so she truly just swooped in and dabbed on us.
Yeah.
Listen, do not underestimate the mom powers.
It's so true.
Your mom instincts are tingling and you begin sprinting down.
Yeah. Tessa like falling behind her.
Something's wrong. My planet needs me. I must go.
All right, so we've got, just so I can make sure I have everyone's inspiration. Oh my God, inspiration. I have everyone's initiative order. I have Orly at a 23. I have Tessa at a natural 20. Unnatural.
Not
20.
natural. Yeah.
I have Riddance out of 10. And where do I have Anuj?
Anuj was a 15.
Thank you. Would you roll one more time for me? You tied with somebody.
No, I want to be first.
I know you do. That's why I want to give her.
Well, that's a 7.
Okay, good. All right. So we're going to take a break while I set up the battle map. Everybody, please take a few moments to recoup and restore and prepare for this upcoming fight. And we're going to take a break. Okay.
Thanks so much for hanging out with us today. If you get a second during break, you should check out one of our amazing sponsors. We're now proudly sponsored by Roll20, the best virtual tabletop for all your role-playing needs. Over 4 million people use Roll20's virtual tabletop to power their favorite games. And with more modules than you can shake a stick at on their new revamped storefront, you'll definitely find something for your group to enjoy. Sign up today by clicking the link below or heading to roll20.net/start/WTTP. Tabletop Loot is an amazing place to get your dice bags, dice boxes, and more. And now you can get 15% off your purchase at tabletoploot.com by using the code WTTPDICE at checkout. Tabletop Loot. Your party starts here. While you're at it, check out our so awesome merch store, So Nerdware. So Nerdware is the place to find all your Welcome to the Party merch and other amazing stuff too. Head on over to sonerdware.com and use the code WELCOME at checkout to get 10% off your next purchase. So Nerdware. It's what the nerds wear. Devin Rue, the amazing mistress of maps, has kindly supported the channel since the beginning and provides graphics for many of our streams. Head on over to rueinc.com to check out some of the best fantasy cartography on the web. Our Patreon supports the creators and producers of the channel by providing Roll20 subscriptions, cost coverage for video hosting, and more. If you want to support the channel while getting podcasts a week early, gaming articles that are published on Patreon first, a shout out during our break, and more, head on over to patreon.com/welcomepartyrpg and throw us a buck or $5. And last, but certainly not least, help out the party. Subs and bits not only support the stream, but also every 500 bits or a tier 1 sub gives a player or DM of your choice a reroll or system equivalent, and every 1000 bits or tier 2 sub gives a player or DM of your choice a crit or system equivalent. Thanks again for hanging out with us today. The game will be back in just a few minutes.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars are candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Welcome back. You can no longer see me because we have a battle map happening. Everyone rolled for initiative, and now it is time to execute. Unfortunately, Arlie, Tessa, the red tiefling, are not here yet. So we are going to start with our human friend who came up in front of our two kids and is going to take a defensive stance here. And she is going to try her darndest to intimidate. She will unsheath the kind of a homemade looking weapon that she has on her back that does look quite dangerous, like a bat with many nails kind of sticking out of it. And she will hold it, and she is going to cup her hands over her mouth, and she is going to yell as loud as she can, "Rufio!" And as she does that, she is going to kind of hulk down and see if that has the desired effect. One of the beasts does kind of hop one step backward, but the other two maintain their position. Anuj, you are up.
So Anuj, now remembering some of their training, steps forward between Riddance and our new scorpion companion, holds up their hand and says, "We will strike." And this golden, actually no, it would be more of a purple light, extends from their hands and wraps around themselves, Riddance's sleeping form, and the human, and they are casting Bless.
Okay, excellent. Can you just remind me
What Bless does?
what that will be giving them?
Whenever a target makes an attack roll or saving throw before the spell ends, they can add a d4. They can roll a d4 and add it to the number rolled. So basically, add a d4 in all your rolls.
Okay, excellent. And you put that on the scorpion or on Riddance?
All three of us get it.
All three of you get it. All right, let's get it then.
Bless affects up to 3 creatures at first level.
Fantastic. All right, everybody's blessed. So, let's go with it's their turn. So they are gonna come up. Luckily, all right, 2 are going to target our scorpion friend, but 1 is going to come up to Anuj as well. They are going to start directing their chomp chomps at y'all. All right, let's see. Oh no. Okay, I'm sorry.
I would like to use protection on the scorpion, so one of those attacks has disadvantage.
Great. The one attacking you, or one of the ones attacking?
It'd be one
scorpion?
attacking the scorpion.
Excellent.
Good
job.
Anuj would basically like have their shield out and like try and get in the way of one of the bitey ones.
Excellent. So of the 2 biting on the scorpion, 1 does land a critical hit for 8 damage, which is not terrible. The other one, though, almost lands, and you just sort of wedge the edge of your shield right in between its teeth and and the scorpion's arm, which is good because that's their sword arm. The other one is going to take a bite attack on you, Anuj, for a 17 to hit, which
17 will hit.
will hit for 3 damage.
Okay.
Okay. At that time, it is Riddence's turn. Riddance, there is a lot of noise suddenly. You were just drifting asleep. You were just about to fall asleep, and then all of a sudden there's a bunch of noise, and now you feel a little warmth, like this feeling of encouragement kind of washing over you. And then you wake up and you see the source of the noise is right in front of you.
So I guess I take like a move action to stand up, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll stand up and I'll be like, wah, and it's still like 3/4 asleep. And Riddance is going to just kind of like, and without understanding, cast poison spray at the closest monster.
Good. That's going to be the one that's attacking Anuj, so that makes sense. What is your poison attack?
That is the creature must succeed on a Constitution saving throw or take 1d12 poison damage.
And what's the saving throw?
Con 12.
They don't make it. How much damage?
Let's find out.
Bless you.
Oh, would you believe it's a 12?
It's a 12?
It's a 12.
Points of damage?
Points of poison damage.
Oh my god. Okay.
I'm like a sputtering half awake, just
incredibly. This child wakes up and in shock just vomits a stressful amount of poison onto the beast that's currently snappering at you, Anuj. And you see that this liquid that pours out of Riddence's mouth hits the side of this beast and like erodes a whole chunk out of the side of it. And it starts to lean now and is hobbling, still chomping, but there's not much left of it to chomp. At this time, Arlie, Tessa, and your scorpion friend that you are rolling with, you hear off in the distance from down below you, Rufio, echo up into the sky. And you see your tiefling friend start running as far ahead of you as possible without saying a word.
Oh, it's fine when he does it.
Apparently. But it sounds like it's coming from the cave. We should probably check it out.
Yeah.
Arlie, you have the first action.
Cool.
Followed by Tessa.
I'm just going to use my action and bonus action and movement to get as far as I can.
Good call. You are able to do that in this one round. Close the distance entirely, catch up to the red tiefling, who now barges in behind these critters. As well, Tessa, you will be a little bit behind them. But you're coming up the rear. And let's see, Arlie, that is your full action to get there. You see this happen. That's also going to be the scorpion's full action, which, Tessa, did you want to do anything else besides run?
How far away are they? Like, or rather, let me rephrase that. Can I see any of those creatures from outside the cave, or would I have to get into it to see them?
At this point, you have to get in front of the cave directly in order to see
Okay.
where they are.
Then I'm just going to run after Arlie and the tiefling.
Okay, excellent. At this point, we're back to Anuj.
So Anuj looks at Riddance in like surprise, confusion, and a little bit of fear of just like, I never want to wake him up ever again. Then looks back to the creature and is going to attempt to strike it with their club.
All right, roll an attack.
Well, that's a natural 20, so I don't think I need to add my d4.
You sure don't. Roll me some double damage.
Okay. Unfortunately, I am using a club, which is not great. Wow, okay. That is max damage, so 10.
Would you please describe for me, Anuj, what happens to this creature?
Anuj isn't going for a killing shot.
Okay.
Anuj never goes for a killing shot.
Mm-hmm.
So they take their club and just swing it around underneath the chin. So the mouth just like closes really hard. And the creature just falls backwards.
Got it. You have a knocked out creatures. What you have falls against the side of the cave wall and finally stops chattering.
And then Anuj is going to use their movement to go up next to the scorpion to try and get attention of one of the two on her.
Okay. Great. All right. That is going to bring us to our red tiefling, who is going to come up behind one of them. And I believe everyone will see at this time that he puts a finger to his lips, says, shh, and a deafening quiet kind of weighs over the entire cave entrance. As that happens, he picks up one of the creatures, is going to try to anyway. He's going to grab one of these creatures from behind by the scruff of the back of it, is going to walk out towards the edge of the cave and is going to yeet it over the side of the cave there. He's going to turn back around, now being out over here, and he's going to turn back around to face all of you and say, we need to be quiet. And that's going to leave room for our remaining creature to attack the other scorpion. Again, that's going to be a
Disadvantage.
hit. Disadvantage. Oh.
Yep, because protection.
All right, still a hit.
Dang.
That's still going to be a hit. Not quite as bad as the last time, but she is hurting. She is going to take a stab at it this time in return and hit. She basically kind of swipes at its legs and takes a little bit of a hit out of it, but not too bad. Riddance.
Yeah, so Riddance is gonna walk up beside the engaged ally. Is that the tiefling?
The tiefling is over here.
Right.
The woman scorpion is right here.
Yes.
Okay.
And kind of not even really like understanding that the battle's still happening, just a little overwhelmed with what just happened
Sure.
projectile wise. So
Yeah.
Riddance is like wiping it off his face and just kind of disgusted and like coming to consciousness and like flipping it away, but flipping it in like at the creature.
Excellent use of breath weapon residuals. Okay.
Yeah, so it's an acid splash at the creature.
Yes. Excellent. And
Um,
is that a con save?
that's a Dex 12
Dex
save.
Whew. Not gonna make it. How much ridiculous damage do you do from that?
Oh, no, that one's a little less. It's 1d6 acid damage.
Okay.
That's a 1.
All right.
That's some
So
spittle.
this one's still doing okay, just a little bit of a splash. Inconsequentially. Orally, you're up with Tessa on deck.
Okay. Well, we're told to be quiet, which means I can't do Thunderwave. Okay. Because that was my first port of call. So instead, I am going to look at the other 2 chompy creatures, and I'm going to cast Bane on them.
Bane. Who do you cast that on? Sorry.
The 2 chompy monsters.
All right, there's only one standing. The other one is kind of unconscious.
Oh, it's unconscious.
Yeah.
Well,
you do it just for fair measure?
Just to be sure.
Okay.
As long as it's within 30 feet of me.
Okay.
And if it's not, I will move so that it is within 30 feet of me.
Yeah, you'll come to probably about here to get them both within range.
Okay.
All right. And so tell me what Bane does to them.
So I can choose up to 3 creatures, and they have to make charisma saving throws. And if they fail, they have to take a d4 from any attack rolls or saving throws and subtract a d4 from that roll.
Correct.
It's
Great.
the opposite of bless.
The one that is asleep cannot save against it, so it automatically will go off, of course. The one that is standing also fails that, so that is in effect.
Cool.
Excellent. Tessa?
Am I in front? Can I see this
You
now?
can see this now. You're perfectly in range. You can get in there.
Okay. I'm just gonna firebolt the one that's still there.
Great. Excellent.
17
hits.
5 points of fire damage.
Excellent. This thing has now been hit several times. It's still standing, not looking great, and now it is singed all over. Still chomping, just burned quite a bit. And it's going to try to make another attack on our scorpion friend there with disadvantage.
And minus a d4.
And a minus a d4. So let me tell you what. Oh my God. Rolled a 4 and rolled a 4 on the d4. So it rolled
literally
a 0. All right. So a 0 to attack with this little critter at this point. Anuj, what would you like to do?
Anuj is going to step up next to the creature and gonna go for another club attack.
Okay, go for it.
That is a 19 plus whatever my bonus is.
Sure, yeah.
And then a d4 for damage. That's gonna be 3 damage.
And I assume you do a non-lethal attack as well this
would also be a non-lethal attack.
Okay. Unconscious.
This would be a bonk to the back of the head.
Bonk. Right on the back of the head.
Mm-hmm.
The chomping sounds are finally stopped completely. Red tiefling comes in immediately, comes over to the scorpion woman who is just fighting, and kind of grabs her by the shoulders and says, "You all right? You okay?" And she sort of brushes off her wounds a little bit and gives a nod.
Nuge would just push the tiefling aside,
Mhm.
not like being mean or anything, but literally just kind of push him aside and walk up and be like, "I got it," and hold out their hands and say, "I will your wounds to go away. I will that you will see the day in Elven." And this purple light just kind of begins to waltz out of their hands and just wrap over wherever they've been bitten, and
Mhm.
their wounds just seal up. And Anuj is going to spend 8 points of lay on hands.
Perfect. Not fully healed, but definitely she is in much better shape. She kind of watches you do that and then pulls back after it's done and like, thanks. Well, that was loud.
What were
And
those things?
oh, the red tiefling kind of. Oh, they're just they're never beasts. They're just figments. You haven't run into any never creatures before? Any figments?
I just got here today.
Mm. Yeah. It's not that they're that bad, although some of them are pretty dangerous. It's that they do enough damage to draw attention, which is never good. So we're gonna have to move.
Well, 2 of them are still alive. If you want to also throw them off the cliff.
Not particularly.
Okay.
They're fine like that. They just come back anyway. So, actually, and he'll kind of go up to one of them and like take like they have like claws on their feet. I'll like take one or two, yank it off, pop it in a bag. Well, those will come in handy at least. But we have to move.
I am going. Is Riddens holding his blanket?
He's still kind of like half draped around it.
Okay, good. I will go up to Anuj and Riddens in order, like as we're heading out, and just, are you okay? Sorry, I left you.
I'm fine. A little hurt, but nothing too bad.
I'll take care of that when we get to wherever we're going. Riddens, how are you?
I startle barfed.
Did you?
He's got like a little spittle of like like what color is your poison, Riddens?
It's green.
It's green.
It's
a
green.
little bit of like green. Just kind of drip droplets like that kind of just occasionally fall off of his chin.
It just prestidigitation him clean. The laundry spell.
Mhm.
Does that like normally happen when people wake you up?
No, No, that's new.
Okay.
Just kind of like slumps his face in his new blanket.
Because it was really cool, I'll be honest. But I don't want to wake you up if you're going to puke on me.
Startle barf. It's the greatest word. Sorry. Then I will rustle Riddence's frill, and if he allows me, I will kiss his little forehead.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah. And then I will also, if Anuj will allow me, I will ruffle their hair as well.
Oh yeah, totally.
I don't know you as well, otherwise I'd give you a forehead kiss too. I'm like, okay, I have all my little chicks.
Yeah, everyone's together now.
Wow.
Now, the red tiefling and the human have kind of, they are standing side by side together and motioning you at the edge of the cave to follow along. They start to head down the spiral quickly and as quietly as possible. Down and down. As you reach the floor of the ground level, back on, off the mountain, and head into the woods, you hear far away, up in the distance, you hear laughter that you've heard before, that now suddenly sounds creepy, when before it sounded fun. Now it has a different feeling when you hear it echoing through the sky like that. And the tiefling and the human kind of usher you inside. And you
As
kind
we
of
were-
walk through the woods.
Sorry.
Oh,
I was
go
just gonna
ahead.
say, as we were walking down, Tessa walks up to Arlie and like links arms again, just kind of like needing that additional person still.
Link the arm, hand over hand. Got you.
All right. You head into the woods. It becomes dark. At this time, the tiefling, the human, will start to look around, find a concealed place, and are going to start setting up a camp to stay at for the remainder of the night, because, as they say to you, need rest. We're going to have to find a new location tomorrow. We're going to have to find the rest of the scorpions tomorrow. And we're going to have to find the mothers tomorrow. We have so much to do.
I can't go to the mothers tomorrow. I need to go to the jungle.
Well, you know what? I can't make you do anything. You do what you have to do, but we have to do that. And we need to let them know what's going on. So once we're rested, if that's what you need to do, we'll figure out a way to make it work. Sorry, by the way. It's been a long time since I've seen a kid or anyone like either of you. Forget how to. Sometimes we forget.
I mean, there's no reason to apologize. You didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah. Maybe. Never sure. Anyway, we'll take the watch. You all rest.
As they say that, I start to cast the alarm spell as a ritual around just wherever we are.
Perfect. Great. Yeah. And you're not in any sort of clearing or anything. You're kind of like mingled in a camp around the trees, just kind of bedrolls. Luckily, it is warm. You don't really feel bad being out on bedrolls, out under the moons and stars. It isn't maybe what any of you are used to in camping or, in sleeping in general, but it's not terrible. You see the two of them kind of assign and arrange shifts, cast some spells themselves. And you maybe have a little bit of time before the tiredness really catches up to you, if there's anything else you wanted to do before sleep.
The woman I saw in my memory, is she familiar to me? Do I recognize her?
You have a familiarity. You know she's comfortable. You know that she is safe. You know that she loves you. You know that you love her. The facts are missing. Her name, who she is, what she did. You just have a feeling. You can close your eyes and picture her face, and you smell herbs and spices and incense, and you feel comfortable and loved. And the facts are missing.
Gonna flip open my locket. Is she the woman inside it or no?
Yes, she is.
Okay.
Riddance is going to try to run over and just kind of like hop sit on his butt right beside Tessa right when she does that. Just goes, hi.
Hi.
So was that lots of super awesome fun stuff? Like you just had to go for a quick run because it was just like so much fun?
Wish I could lie to you about that, but no, was not fun.
Anu said that I wasn't right. I don't think I was.
I mean, thank you for letting me have the choice to drink it. I can see why you might not want people to. Or at least to let people have the choice to do it instead of making them drink it without knowing.
Yeah.
And if he'll let me, I'll kind of like pull him in for a side hug.
Yeah, that's okay. You did the fire thing again.
I did.
It was so cool.
Thank you.
Is that something like?
Yeah.
No, you say.
No, you. I heard about the startle vomit.
The
interesting.
It's called a startle barf.
Startle barf, yes. Sorry.
And it only happens. Apparently, it only happens when I'm really startled.
Okay, well, I will make a note not to really startle you.
And I will make a note not to barf.
Appreciate that. I mean, on bad guys, you can do it, just not on us, please.
Okay, deal.
Yeah, deal.
And he does he holds out his pinky.
pinky swear. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see this? And he like flaps his blanket.
I did. I really like your name on the edge there. That's really pretty.
Yeah, it's very nice.
It is very nice.
Yeah.
Is it warm?
It's super warm and it's pretty
Good.
big.
Yeah, I can see that.
I can
Really
grow
nice.
into it.
You can. Yes, it's a blanket to grow into. She did a good job.
Yeah. Arlie can handle it.
Yeah, she can. She's good at stuff.
Speaking of, Arlie, what are you up to before bed?
I'm gonna go behind a tree and have a very quiet panic attack.
Okay. That's very relatable.
Yeah, big heckin' mood.
Mhm.
Even though I struggle to remember things, I still can remember them. And people running away, people disappearing all of a sudden just brings back a lot of very visceral memories for me. Mostly based on things that my mother had told me about my father. And so I'm just huddled underneath a tree, don't let anybody see, and just quietly panic. I'll get my breathing under control after a couple minutes, wipe away the tears, and make it look like nothing happened.
Very good. Anuj?
I think Anuj is sitting against a tree, kind of just holding the amulet in their hand, turning it over and over, and just thinking on their memories, everything that happened, but more specifically, the weeks before they arrived at Neverland and everything that happened.
In sitting down and actually, it's sort of like everything came back in a flood. And when you sit down finally without anything to fight or anything to run from or to or anything like that, you're able to sort of lay it out and organize it back into where it was meant to be. You're able to relive those moments, determine that they were real, and to sort of put them back into your memory where they're supposed to be. Like you're sort of just filing everything. You, in thinking this, focus on that moment when exactly you dropped that item. And because this information has just been re-entered into your brain, it's almost like you're able to pick it up and look at it a little bit before filing back into your brain. And you pick this one image up of the moment of panic as you realize that it slipped, as a moment that seems louder and brighter in your newly retrieved memory. And although you don't know how to navigate Neverland, you have a very good picture, a clear picture of an aerial view of exactly the tree. You know that if you saw this tree from the top, you would 100% know exactly where it is.
I think realizing that, Anuj just kind of nods to themselves and then kind of like flipping through the pages of the book, goes back.
Okay.
Goes backwards through the attack, through the strangers, and
Mhm.
pauses on the first moment they saw the strangers enter the village with
Yeah.
open arms.
Yeah.
And I think Anuj, if we're sticking with like the picture frame book moment, stares at their faces, committing them to memory.
Anuj, as you do so, you have a familiar feeling. Looking back on that first meeting with these strangers, you look back at it like you're looking at a picture book, and it was nice. They gave you a little trinket. You showed them around, let them in on things, let them eat your food. It was actually nice. You told stories to one another. They seemed like they could be new friends. And then suddenly, those faces looking back on these previously happy memories are colored differently. And it strikes you as familiar to hearing the laughter in the sky before. You've heard Pan laugh before, and it seemed like fun when he laughed and flew with you through the sky. It seemed like he was having fun and laughing, joy, things that felt familiar to you not long ago. As you just heard it in the sky before, it sounded the same but different, scary and sinister, even though it's identical. And when you're looking on this memory, you get this same feeling in you, like these smiles are not real smiles. You all go to sleep. You rest, or those of you who sleep, those of you who meditate instead, do so. You rest, heal, regain your strength. You wake up, and your guardians are seemingly still awake, are cooking something over a very small flame. They allow you to eat some things. And at this point, the tiefling says, well, all right. We have a couple of tough decisions to make. I know that I need. The scorpions are returning to that cave looking for us. The mothers are also returning to that cave looking for us. I can't go back there. I need to intercept them. I need to find them. I'm going to. But I know that you have something you need to do. And I would not want you to go alone. So how would you like this to go down?
I hate to say this, but I need to go back to Pan. I need to be able to fly.
Anybody want to weigh in on that before I do?
This isn't me saying that I want to be Pan's friend again. This isn't me saying that I want to go back to the Lost Ones. I just need to be able to fly if I'm going to find the boy lost.
Is there any other way to this is Tessa asking. Can we I mean, I know Pan has the fairy dust. Is there any other way we can fly without getting them involved?
Look, there are ways. I mean, there's no other way besides fairy dust to fly. It's just that it's harder. Well, it's hard to come across fae creatures here on Neverland who are willing to part with any. Pan's fairy doesn't so much have a choice, and hers goes to pretty much anybody he gives it to. However, I suppose we could try to find another way. If you do go back to Pan, it's not so much him I'm worried about, but the rest of the lost ones. They may remember. They may remember that you left. They may tell him, and if he reacts poorly, you'll be without support. We can't get to the camp.
Then, if I can't get fairy dust from Pan, then I'll have to ask the fairies.
A look is shared between the tiefling and the human. He rubs his brow and says, all right. You know, I don't recommend that typically, but if those are the two options for you, asking the Fae directly is the one I'd have to say is the lesser of two dangers.
Well, you said the Fae were always here, right?
They are.
In the sense that they were here before Pan was here.
Yes, that's true.
Okay. Then I think I know what to do. I just need to know whereabouts they might be.
That's tricky. Well, they hide. Have any of you ever found your fairy?
What do you mean, my fairy?
Well, everybody's got one.
What? I don't understand. What do you mean everybody's got one?
Never heard anything like that.
Everybody's got one. There's one. That's how they're made. You don't know the story?
No.
I don't do the stories, really. The mothers usually do this part again. Everybody's got a fairy. Every living person has a fae person. And they're usually with you for a period of time, and then they come back either to Neverland, or sometimes they go elsewhere. But they could be here.
Kind of like a guardian? Or a friend? Or
Like a spirit, almost. Like a little piece of you that got plucked out and put away for safekeeping.
I'm gonna look over at Riddance. Is that what Sudsbury is?
I mean, Sudsbury's a lot of things, but he's never really been like, "Hey, I'm your fairy. What's up? How you doing? What's going on?" You just kind of like, he's big. He's got lots of feathers and stuff, and this is are you making up stories? Because if everybody had a fairy, then all of the lost would have fairies, and we wouldn't need Pan to help us to fly.
Yeah, there should be a lot here if every child has a fairy, and even some of them come back to Neverland. It should be fairly easy to find them. That sounds like a lot.
Well, I don't think Pan wants everyone to have fairies.
I mean, that would make sense.
Good
Have a
job, kid.
monopoly.
You
I don't know
said
that word. I didn't say that.
you said that his fairy doesn't have a choice.
Well,
What if it's because she's protecting the others?
I don't feel like giving her that much credit. You never met her. I suppose it's more complicated than that, but most fairies. And he points kind of to himself, to Arlie and Tessa and the human companion. We reach a state at some point in our lives where they no longer stay linked to us, and they move on. They either come here and live their lives or they move on somewhere else. But you, Riddance and Anuj, you would still be linked to them. Many of the lost have broken that connection, but you might not have.
I think Noosh stands up at this point from like off the ground and says, "Okay, then I'm going to find my fairy. The missing piece of myself."
Cool. Cool.
And we'll work together, and if they want to leave, they can leave, and I won't be like Pan. I don't want to be like Pan.
I don't want you to either. We should get moving. I would say best way to do it is maybe to, and this is a risk, but the mermaids know everything. If you're able to get them to talk somehow, they know more about this island than I do, than Pan does. They know everything.
Rins looks at Arlie and is like, hey, we already greeted them. We're like the bestest of buddies.
We sure did. And I do owe them a story.
Well then, I guess we'll go see the mermaids.
Right.
Why do you owe them a story?
That's a story in and of itself.
Tessa chokes on some water. It goes down the wrong pipe as I'm laughing, trying to hold that back.
Right.
I'll briefly explain. I cast a spell on a mermaid to make her think we were friends and to show me her treasure. And the spell wore off. And we weren't friends. And I almost drowned. It's fine.
This is what happens when you miss 2 weeks.
Yeah. We're going to go and alert the rest of the scorpions, find the mothers. Let's
How can we find you again once we've...
Don't tell us how to find you.
Okay.
You tell us.
Maybe
You
we should
find
meet
us.
someplace.
No, because I don't want, if something happens, if somehow Pan comes and gets us, I don't want us to betray them.
Could we do some sort of, you don't tell us how to find you, but we have some sort of sign?
What was that yell last night?
Oh, yeah.
Rufio.
Is that a way?
My name? You never asked. So anyway,
Sorry.
it's all right. It's fine. Just don't yell it unless it's an emergency.
Makes sense.
I'll know if it's not an emergency. Probably.
Can you hear that? Like, I mean, if you're not in earshot, will you still hear it?
It carries. It's a good
Okay.
name. Anyway, whatever. I gotta go. Good luck. And if you do find the fairies, just just good luck. And he's gonna kind of throw his bedroll back over his shoulders and wander off.
As he's wandering off, I think Anuj like steps forward and says, "You don't have to do that. You don't have to like hold yourself back because you're afraid."
Yeah, Riddance immediately takes a step beside Anuj and kicks off and goes, "Yeah, I mean, we can totally ask if your fairy is around too."
He turns around. You know what? Thanks. But I think mine left a long time ago.
I mean, we can always
Let's-
check if they're okay.
We can certainly do that. Let's focus on you first.
I know, but you keep doing that. You say something like you want to say something and then you hold yourself back. You don't have to do that.
Part of my charm, kid.
I think Anuj just walks up to him, says, "Well, you're doing a great job. I don't know why you aren't confident in yourself." And Anuj just wraps their arms around him, giving him a hug.
Pat the child.
Pat.
Pat. There. Don't be cry.
It's cool. Yeah, I'll I'm good. It's good. It's good to have met you, and I promise I'll think on it.
Yeah, take your time. And Anuj just walks back to the rest of the group.
Two of them continue on their path.
But Riddance just shouts, "Later, Red Skunk!"
Throws up a B sign behind him, continues off into the woods. What would y'all like to do?
Mermaids.
That was me. That was me initially. I want to go see the mermaids.
All right. You have to head towards the mermaids.
Does everyone else agree with this? I don't want to be the one monopolizing the choice.
I'm okay with that. I'm trying to remember the story that I promised them.
Tessa's still like having mild panic attack from her memory last night, so she's gonna go along with whatever anybody else wants.
I am keeping an eye on Tessa.
What about Riddance?
Riddance is like, okay, I learned a lot yesterday. Okay. So how do we make sure everybody's doing everything they want to do if we're only doing the one thing first?
Good question. What do you want to do?
I want to go to the mother's because my mom's probably there and she's probably going to meet you and it's going to be so much fun.
So,
what did you drop? What's so important that you go get it right now?
Anuj immediately clams up. Immediately. As soon as you ask that, Anuj just stops. And begins wringing their hands again, which you haven't seen them do since they landed.
I'm sorry. I just, if it's really, it seems really important to you. I was just curious what it was.
It's very important. I just, I just can't talk about it right now.
Okay.
Would it be worth going and meeting the mothers at the cave and telling them where they're going, where we are going to be? And maybe they can find us?
I don't know. I know where it is or where it should be, and I'm scared that the memory's going to go away if we don't do this soon enough. And I don't know.
I mean, you could, I wouldn't tell me, my memory doesn't work that great, but you could, I mean, if you told Arlie or Riddance or drew a picture, and then the more people that know, I mean, if your memory starts to fade on it, then we've got the two of them. They seem to have pretty good memory as it is without the help of that potion.
And Tessa, you have a very good memory of Neverland. You don't have a good memory of your time before that, but you have a very solid handle on the island.
All right.
Well, then maybe we can do this. Maybe we can go see the mermaids, get that information, then go see the mothers. That way we can do both things. That's okay with you, Riddance?
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Listen, moms have a lot to do. Okay.
That's right.
And so it's going to be fine. I'm sure it's going to be fine. It's not going to be a problem. Let's go do it.
Okay. Riddance, what do you think your fairy's going to be like?
You know, I got really excited when Rufio was saying that maybe I have one, but I don't want to guess. I think I'm just going to let it be a surprise.
Okay. I think I'm going to let mine be a surprise too.
Tessa,
to the mermaids.
Tessa and Arlie, you have the best handle, the both of you, on which direction to head in. Tessa, you can tell that the trees start to change in a certain way when you head in a certain direction, and that's where you head towards the lagoon. You have a bit of a ways to go as you travel through the woods. Everybody make me stealth checks, please.
And while we're doing that, can I keep an eye out for any other berries or nuts that look like the ones that Sheldon?
Absolutely. Give me your stealth check and then give me a nature check as well.
Stealth was 22.
10.
Can I re-roll with an inspiration?
You sure can.
Yeah, that was a natural one.
Oh.
My stealth was a 14.
Good.
And my nature was a natural 20.
Wonderful.
How many times can you reroll?
Just the one on one.
That is a 7 + 1. That's an 8.
Okay. Riddance cares not for the stealth mission. Riddance stomps through the woods with glee, heading towards the mermaids that he has greeted. As you're doing this, Tessa, you have a newly revived sense for herbs, spices, potions in general. You just start kind of looking, and these things are popping out to you. You not only retrieve enough nuts and berries for what you believe will be one more of those same potions, but you also see something that looks like a familiar herb to you as well, something that you haven't seen yet on Neverland used in a potion, but something that seems like it's useful to you, a flower that you know back home can be used for something, and you pick that up as well. You head through the woods with Riddance at the lead, just kind of drum lining you through. Everybody make me a perception check.
Uh-oh.
19.
That's an
This
11.
die is going in the Hall of Fame.
Actually, no. That's not an 11. That's a 7. So that's actually
Okay.
a 20.
Our
Is it a
green-
17, but the 7 isn't fully filled in?
Oh,
Our green boy in the lead is a 4.
good.
Ooh.
You just keep on stomping. And how
Oh,
about Arlie?
-1. It's a 3.
15.
Okay. Tessa and Arlie are mothers ever vigilant on.
We have the child leashes.
Yes.
You all are walking with Riddance at the lead, and you come upon a little bit of a clearing. And as you walk past it, Arlie and Tess, you hear a soft rumble that starts to get louder and louder and echoing. Riddance, you keep walking until they stop you, which I'm assuming is what the head shake is about.
I grab the trailing blanket and just
Yep. Nope.
Hold up.
The clearing, you turn and you see that there is a small little cavern, dark inside, and the source of the rumbling is growing from in there. It becomes louder and louder, and the ground under your feet starts to shake with you as you all pause, until out of this little cavern appears the image. Arlie and Tess, you recognize this thing. Kind of. It is about Riddance's height, maybe a little smaller. In fact, definitely smaller than Riddance. It is a creature with tentacles flowing from its face, with a robe draped past its feet, with little tentacles that come out. It is walking on these tentacles like this, kind of floating on the ground. Big, glossy, blinking eyes, and a pacifier in its mouth. It is a tiny little baby mind flayer, and its robed tentacle arms, as it kind of floats and walks up to all of you. The rumbling stops. And it goes.
Oh no. Damn the mother instincts.
It wants to be picked up, as far as I can
Where
tell.
where have we recognized this from?
Tessa and Arlie, this is something that it's a beast that you recognize. It feels familiar. You've never seen one that looks like this. It definitely looks like something you know to be evil, but it's not quite right. It's small and it's not attacking you.
Is there anything else in this clearing in the cave that we can see?
The cave is
Just
dark.
Okay.
So you can't see inside of it. Nothing else in this clearing that you can see.
Question.
Answer.
Do we all see the baby, or is it just these two who see the baby?
They are the ones that were alerted to the sound. You all now see this baby approach.
Okay. Anuj scoops up the baby.
No. Oh!
And just one arm holding onto the
oh.
baby.
Okay.
Anuj,
this is happening.
the tentacle arms wrap around you with one kind of like sticking to your face, and it just in your ear you hear it like going on this pacifier thing as it just starts looking around.
I think Anuj just like doesn't like just baby pinch the cheek and be like, I mean, they're just a baby. We should probably go find their parents.
Let me tell you a story about ghosts sometimes, and I'm going to like very gently take the little baby Illithid from Anuj and be like, sometimes the
Is the
cutest
baby letting
things-
go? Or is the baby stuck on?
Got little suctiony bits that are not really, I mean, if she pulls hard enough, it will come off.
Okay.
But it's like,
I'm gonna cast dancing lights above the baby and pull the baby away from it.
And falls off.
Doesn't have object permanence yet. I can do this.
I mean, we have to take them home.
No.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure this is their home.
Home is
back
the
into
cave.
the cave.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we're not going to go in the cave because
Why
where the
not?
baby is probably where the parents are.
So, and Anuj, are you familiar with the idea of mama bear situations?
Yes.
Where sometimes if you get in between the mom and the cub, then even if it's accidental, stuff happens. I think Arlie and I'm too a little concerned that the baby's mom is going to do that.
Well, we're not running away from the cave. We're bringing them back to the cave.
The mother may not realize that. So I'm going to go put the baby back in the front of the cave. Well, actually, I'm going to put the baby down and have my dancing lights trail towards the entrance to the cave. And hopefully the baby will follow the dancing lights.
Okay.
Because again, object permanence isn't a thing.
Put it down.
Yeah.
Okay. The baby's sort of kind of hard for you to pull off a little bit. Okay. You put it down and you do your little dancing lights towards the cave. Yeah. The long robes over its like tentacles and over its feet as it sort of like trips and floats its way towards the dancing lights, and it just
and I'm going to hold it there for like 15 seconds. I'm going to look over at Tessa, like, can you get the younger ones out of here? I'll be there in just a second.
Yeah. Let's keep walking towards the mermaids. Arlie's just going to make sure that the little baby gets back home okay.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Riddance is like, but those lights are so cool.
One hand on Riddence's shoulder.
The baby leash. Get the baby
shoulder. Leash. Yeah, the baby leash. Arlie can do that, and she can make them dance, and she can make them any shape that you want. I think any color, and she can make a light show just for you.
I like look at Arlie and I'm like, make sure that the baby goes to their parents, because otherwise they might come out and get bitten by one of the chatterboxes.
I will make sure. And in my head, I'm like, I'm more worried about the chatterboxes than the baby, but okay. And I look at Riddance and I was like, and go with Tessa. She's right. I'll do a dancing light show for you later, but I'm gonna make sure this baby gets home safe, okay? And then I'll come meet you.
Riddance just nods and goes, I know you can handle it.
Uh-huh.
Anuj follows Tessa, but like keeps looking over their shoulder just to make sure.
Tessa urges the other two kind of out, sort of keeping the taking the rear up on that. We don't go super far out of the clearing. I don't want to get too far out of, earshot of Arlie, but just like, out of the clearing, kind of a little bit out of eyesight maybe, and then just stop and wait for her.
Okay. Arlie?
So the length, God, the distance, that's the word I was looking for. The distance for dancing lights is 120 feet. So I'm sending those dancing lights as far into the cave as I can get them.
Okay. The lights actually illuminate a little bit of the cave for you from the outside. You're now able to see a little bit. It looks like a wet, empty cave. And the little guy kind of follows in after the lights, and as they go in a little bit deeper, it starts to darken in behind him as well, again.
As soon as the baby disappears, I cut off the dancing lights and book it.
As you do, you feel that rumble kind of return and then go away.
Cool. And I go and catch up with the others.
Okay.
Everything okay?
Everything seems fine. It seemed like just a cave, but
that was weird, right?
Yeah, that was really weird.
I think at this point, Anuj is probably just telling Riddance about the babies in the village and how Anuj used to babysit. And just like talking about that, completely not paying attention to the conversation that's happening behind them.
Yeah.
Good call. All right. You travel a little bit longer, further in. Further out, I suggest at this point. Now the woods are getting thinner. You're getting closer to the lagoon and to the tree line. As you do, it gets brighter, sunnier. Sun is coming up overhead. You see the lagoon ahead of you, familiar to Tess, Arlie, and Riddance. You've been here before. Anuj, brand new sight to see. From where you're standing when you first come into sight, no mermaids that you can see. The cave is there along the water. What would you like to do?
Can I see if I can find Sheldon?
Sure. Give it go and walk along the beach, giving me an investigation check.
11.
I mean, there are so many shells that look just like him before he starts walking around. There are just so many that look identical.
Are there any that are exceptionally pretty?
There's a couple of brightly colored shells that are beautiful.
I want to make sure that they are uninhabited and also not going to suddenly have eyes open at me. And then once I'm sure of that, then I'm just going to slide them into a pocket.
Excellent. You get 2 bright red and 1 bright green shells that are certified empty. You're out here. Is everyone out on the beach?
Yep.
Yeah.
Out here on the beach, it's mostly quiet. The lake is largely still. There's no waves. And you don't see any mermaids above the water. But Arlie and Riddens, as you are standing there along the coastline there, you suddenly start to hear a little music. It's a nice, light flute kind of a sound. It's beautiful. It sounds like a lullaby. Can you make me a wisdom saving throw?
Man, yeah.
Does Anush hear the music or no?
You don't.
Okay.
And Tessa doesn't either. Okay.
No.
Using
This-
inspiration.
That would be a natural 20.
All right. Good time for it.
Nice.
Very
Please,
good
please,
time.
Please,
for it.
please. 6.
Oh. Okay. Riddens, you hear the music. It's nice. You like it. And that is it. Arlie, you hear this music and just deep in your heart, you gotta find the source of it. It makes you want to weep to not go find it. And it's under the water in this lake.
Okay. Cool. Great. This isn't repeating history at all. It's fine.
Mhm. Arlie starts to walk calmly, smiling even, just straight ahead, just straight in.
Arlie, what you doing?
Do I hear them at all?
You do, yeah, you do. You can respond for sure.
Can you not hear that music? It's beautiful.
There's music? I don't.
Yeah, it sounds like a flute. It's coming
No.
from that direction. And I point deeper into the water.
Do I hear this music at all?
No.
Riddens is
No.
like, yeah, I hear it.
Anush?
I
hear
don't
music?
hear any music.
Okay.
Arlie, where are you? Can you breathe underwater?
I don't know. I was able to last time.
I kind of try to catch up to Arlie in the water and see if I can stop her from walking any further.
How? Just
Just grab her arm or her hands. How far deep is she at this point?
she's walking at a pretty fair pace. She's going waist deep already. And as you catch up to her while she's waist deep, you grab her by the arms.
Yeah.
And she just
try to turn her around to be
she doesn't fight you on it. She just continues walking forward and does
Hey.
not.
You can't breathe underwater unless you grew gills and didn't tell us. Maybe don't keep walking. What the heck?
But
I don't hear anything.
I mean, surely it'll be fine. That music's so beautiful. Surely you can hear it. It's gorgeous. I need to learn that song.
I can't hear anything, and I can guarantee you continuing to walk into the water when you can't breathe underwater will not be fine.
I think at this point, Anuj is seeing what's going on and thinking of what they can do, and they just run up to the edge of the water and drop to the ground and say, "Excuse me, mermaids, please stop doing this. It's not very nice. And my friend can't breathe underwater. Please."
Make me a Make me a persuasion check.
That is a non-natural 20.
Wonderful. Arlie, you stop walking with the water up to your shoulders. The music stops and you feel a little confused. And just almost as soon as that happens, a few heads, mermaid heads, pop up out of the water at different points and start swimming towards the shore, not towards you.
Hello. My name is Anuj. I'm new to this place. I need some help, if you can provide it. If you are busy or you have other things going on, that's okay. I was told that you are the smartest and most knowledgeable creatures on the island.
As they are swimming towards you, this group, this school of mermaids, essentially, that are coming towards you, as you're talking to them and saying these things, they seem not only uninterested, but maybe even displeased.
I'm like leading Arlie out of the water back to the shore.
Oh yeah. I'm
However,
getting out of there pretty quick.
when you say that they are the smartest beings here on Neverland, one with bright red skin and shining black hair pops up out of the water, almost right there, and smiles.
Oh, hello.
We are the smartest.
Anuj would absolutely bow their head slightly, like in respect, and say, "It's nice to meet you."
Why should we tell you anything?
Well, I don't really have anything to offer you. Um, why you should tell me anything? You don't have to, is the thing. I'm asking if you could, but that doesn't mean you have to. The choice is always yours, and your choices are what's best for you.
What will you give us?
Um, I can play music. I can uh tell you a story. I could um do a dance. Um I'm not very good at dancing, but I could dance. Um I could tell you my dreams.
And what did you want to know?
I want to know where to find the fairies because I'm looking for my own fairy so I can find something I lost.
Mm.
And I understand if that's a lot. I did come into your home, so I want to show you the respect that you deserve. Um, so if there's anything else I can do to help you, please let me know. I'm willing to offer my assistance. I'm good with babysitting. Um, I'm an okay cook. Uh,
I'm assuming are Tessa and I close at this point?
Yes, you're now on the shore and close and hearing all this. You see that this one mermaid that is conversing with Anuj is very curious, is not one of the mermaids that you engaged with, but you do see the rest among the group of mermaids a little further back.
I will put my hand on Anuja's shoulder and say, I was disrespectful the last time I was here. So if it would make you all more willing, I can tell you the very first story I ever learned.
The fairies like to be kept secret. It's a very big secret. We can provide that secret for 2 stories.
Okay.
One from you. Points to Anuj and to Tessa.
Tessa.
Sorry, Arlie. Thank you for
Okay.
I got so worried for Tessa for like half a second. I was like, oh
I
god.
was like, what?
Dun, dun, dun.
one from Arlie. 2 stories for 1 secret.
That price is fair and generous.
You hear the mermaids kind of like giggle a little.
Having been to the mermaids before, both with Pan and without, and having at least conversed with them in some way, can I insight check this to see if this is a good deal or gonna backfire on us somehow?
You can insight check this. It's gonna be tough. Pan does all of their interactions with the mermaids kind of privately and secret in hushed whispers. So try.
That was a natural 20.
Oh.
Nice.
From what you understand from what you know, is that if they agree to make a deal, they keep the deal. So if they're saying that this deal will go up, however, they don't always say things in plain language what they are asking.
What was their verbiage when they agreed?
They said 2 stories.
2 stories for 1 secret.
1 from each of them. How long should the story be?
They didn't say which secret it was.
They didn't say what secret.
And in
that makes
exchange,
me sad.
yeah. Is it too late to renegotiate?
I think so.
Make
'cause I already
amends to this contract.
I already said that this was a fair and generous price.
Mm-hmm.
This is Anusha's deal.
Mermaid picks up a shell from the beach that you're standing on, puts one into Anusha's hand, takes another, puts one into Arlie's hand, and their webbed fingers kind of leave it right in your palm. They say, you tell your story, and I will give you the secret of the fairies. And she picks up a sort of like a starfish, hardened starfish off the beach, and whispers into it.
Anuj takes the shell and begins whispering their story into it. And their story is about the first arisen and the first awoken. The story that their father used to tell them all the time.
Mm-hmm.
The very familiar one.
You whisper into a pearl shell with swirls of gold. You tell this story. What story do you tell, Orly?
This is the very first story that I ever learned when I first was old enough to start going into taverns and earning my own coin. This was one of the first stories I ever told, and it's about how a Selkie fell in love with a fisher's daughter, and how
the fisher's daughter couldn't go into the sea because she would perish, and the Selkie couldn't go on land or else he'd perish after a day. And so they instead found the fisherman's daughter's grandmother, who her grandmother had a Selkie coat that allowed the daughter to turn into a Selkie and be with the man that she loved. And they spent the rest of their lives happily.
Your shell is a pale blue color with seafoam green polka dots all over it. You whisper that story into the shell. As you whisper, you no longer know those stories. You pass that back to the mermaid, who takes them into the webbed fingers and passes you back this hardened starfish. The mermaid bows her head, says, "Thank you. We can do business." And dives under the water, and the other mermaids kind of sink below as well. Who takes the starfish?
I feel like Anuj would.
Anuj.
Just
Anuj
because,
was the front and center to this
Yeah.
conversation, so that makes sense. So Anuj takes the starfish. As you look at the underneath side to this starfish, you see that on it, there are little marked spots all over in an interesting pattern. And one of these marks is big and bright. It looks like stars.
Anuj would look at this and try to recall the map of the island that they had seen before on the stump,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of like transpose it in their mind.
Yeah.
To see like where it would fit.
It's difficult to recall exactly, but it does seem to be similar in its design. This looks like a map with a particular spot highlighted for you.
Can I see that?
Anuj would like stare at it for a moment more and then hand it over just in case like something happens, like the magic disappears and the highlight goes away.
No, Tessa, you see the same thing.
Does it, with having been in Neverland for a year or so, is there anything that stands out that would help me figure out how to orient this? Or
Absolutely.
Okay.
As with most things done in Neverland that you know about, most maps are star maps. So the traveling would be easiest by night. You'll be able to see what the patterns of the stars are pointing you towards.
Okay. This matches the stars. So I think it would help if we did this, or at least we could look at it at night.
Okay.
So maybe we head to the mothers, and then tonight we look at the stars and look at the map and figure out where we need to go.
Anuj would nod and say, "Yeah, I think that's a good idea."
Okay.
All right.
Before
To mothers.
we leave to the mothers, Anuj, still on the beach, still on like the beach of this lake, would sort of bow and say, "I don't know if you can hear me, but thank you." for helping me find my way to where I need to be. And then get up and go.
Okay. You start your journey back into the woods, which is where we will pick back up next time on this journey to go see the mothers. I would like everyone to please tell the lovely people who have been watching this where to find you, because you're amazing, please.
I'll go first this time. Hi, I'm Kate. You can find me on Twitter at KatesD8, and I play Arlie. And that's Twitter's really the only place that I live at the moment.
Okay. Hi, I'm Russ at Russ Wildest on Twitter. You can find me a lot of different places. On Mondays, you can find me on the Onyx Path channel at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time playing Chronicles of Darkness. You can also find me as the game master of Prism Pals, a 5e D&D all ages game. It is completely LGBTQ+, and we also are currently looking for our 5th cast member. So if you are part of the BIMPOC LGBTQ+ community, please feel free to apply.
I'm Sarah. I play Tessa. You can find me on Twitter at Arclight Phoenix. Phoenix is missing all its vowels. Just note on that. And yeah, that's pretty much all where you can find me.
Hey, I'm Morgan, at rmorganslade on Twitter. You can find me on, I guess, yeah, that's a good spot. Or YouTube, you can pick up some D&D inspired sea shanties if you want, if you're in the mood.
So good.
So good.
And you know, all the other things that you are working on, we will boost them as they come out. I am Diana. You can find me on Twitter, Super Dylan with eyes, 2 eyes. I just am online a lot. That's what I do. And after we are done with this season, I will release this so other people can play in Neverland. And I hope that people like it. Thank you to everybody who watched, who subbed. We got a couple of follows, a couple subs, a couple hosts, and a raid. Thank you so much. Please join the Discord, the Patreon, and get some merch at sonerdwear.com. We are going to go raid Gold Heart Gaming. So everyone, please enter their chat with a bangarang in honor of our lovely show that we are coming and crashing their party as well. Thank you to everyone for being here. Let's go raid them and leave them a bangarang in the chat. Thanks, everybody. Woo.